What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we've got some awesome information for you guys, so let's go ahead and get right into it. And we're starting off with the F-Zero GX producer, Mr. Toshihiro Nogoshi, talking about wanting to return to the series if Nintendo would want that to happen. Now you have to remember, guys, Mr. Nogoshi, he is the Yakuza producer, and he used to work on some Nintendo exclusive franchises at the time. On the GameCube, Super Monkey Ball being one of them. You also had F-Zero GX. So here's what he had to say on the matter with Red Bull France. Putting aside the odds of it happening, I must admit I have a lot of affection for F-Zero GX. If the opportunity were to present itself, I wouldn't mind, and in that case, I'd like to make it a challenging game. I believe that if Nintendo just wants a racing game that is fun and accessible, they already have Mario Kart for that purpose. Now, the last time that we even saw F-Zero in any notable capacity in a game or anything was Nintendo Land with the F-Zero or Captain Falcon's Twister Race or whatever that was. But that game was so crazy, it was really weird, and Nintendo really hasn't done anything since then. The last two mainline releases were on the, I think the GBA. Yeah, the GBA got an F-Zero game as well. The GameCube got one. The Wii did not get an F-Zero game. So it's been quite some time. It's definitely been like over like a decade or something like that since we've seen a real release of F-Zero, and a lot of fans have been clamoring for it. Now, I do feel that there is a lot of, I would say, like a very small audience that's speaking very loudly for F-Zero, because the games have just literally like declined in sales since the Super Nintendo. It's just been going down and down and down and down. But I do feel that there is an opportunity at some point that Nintendo would revisit this franchise. I mean, they did it with Star Fox last generation with the Wii U. It had been a while since we got an actual Star Fox game, whether it was a remake or whatever the case is. And yes, it was essentially a remake again of Star Fox 64, a re-release, but they did do a number of new things and it did play differently. So it's something that could happen. I mean, we could see F-Zero come back, and Nogoshi, I mean, he still would like to make it. So maybe there is something between Sega and Nintendo in order to get a new F-Zero game out on the Nintendo Switch at some point. The install base is there. This would be the highest install base for F-Zero to come out since the Game Boy Advance, and it looks like it's going to go above that, right? So I do think that there's a lot of opportunity with what's going on now at this point and the type of racing game that F-Zero could be for it to come back. But we're just going to have to wait and see what Nintendo has, lined up for us. Maybe there is something soon, but what do you guys think about this? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, I'm moving on to the next topic here, guys. Virtuous, the developers behind a lot of successful ports on the Nintendo Switch, just talked about how they have a dedicated team that's just set for the Nintendo Switch itself, in addition to what is the optimization they use for handheld and the TV modes and everything. But they've done some great stuff on the Switch, so I actually was really interested to cover this. They did Dark Souls Remastered, BioShock Collection, XCOM 2 Collection, and more. I think they also did like Final Fantasy as well. So they did a interview recently, and here's what they had to say about the Nintendo Switch and how many people that they have put on the system, because Virtuous has a lot of developers that do other systems too, PS4, Xbox One. They do a lot of stuff. They have like over 1,000 people or something like that. But they talked about the Switch team in particular here with this question. Here's what Andy Fong had to say first. Yes, we have a full-time team of experts working on Nintendo Switch development projects. The Shanghai team is made up of 40 programmers, and the Chengdu team is made up of 20 programmers. Here's what Lucas Coder had to say. Ports of new platforms are led by a producer who oversees the entire project. The person who works closely with the technical director and the director are in charge of the engineers and artists on each team. Depending on the project, we have a data manager responsible for creating builds, setting up development branches, and more. Several designers who tweak the controls, the UI, and the QA team. So very in-depth answer from both of them here. Next up, we're going to talk about the performance between the TV and the handheld mode. This is what, in my opinion, makes it a true hybrid because of what they have to say right here. Fong first starts off by saying GPU clock speeds are twice as high in TV mode. To make up for this, the resolution in handheld mode is typically lower. For example, if the resolution in TV mode is 1080p and the handheld mode is 66% of the TV mode, then it should be 720p in the handheld. They also continue with saying, in our experiences thus far, it's easy to pinpoint where performance is going smoothly or poorly in TV mode. However, in order to cover all of our bases, the QA team is constantly playing the game in both modes. collecting and comparing performance data in both. Generally speaking, the game's performance will decrease in TV mode when there are a lot of transparent particle effects or heavy post-processing effects. However, this is not always the case, so we need to test the entire game out. Our goal is to deliver equivalent visuals in both modes outside of the resolution. Therefore, we do our absolute best to optimize both modes as much as possible. So they also talked about the core strengths in handling Nintendo Switch ports, and here's what Mr. Fong had to say. First of all, we all have over a decade of experience in developing games for a variety of devices of varying capabilities. In particular, we have experience porting games to mobile devices and portable game consoles. This allows us to not only manage the hardware limitations we tend to face, but also plan for them. Additionally, we have considerable experience in a variety of technologies, including commercial game engines such as Unreal Engine 3 and Unreal Engine 4, Unity, in-house engines as well. That gives us an understanding of how to approach each technology and incorporate into our porting strategies. So they kind of have all the bases covered here when it comes down to it. Now, if you want to read the full interview, make sure you check out the link in the description. But I wanted to talk about this because Virtuous, yeah, they've done some pretty impressive ports on the Switch. I think a lot of people would say that the BioShock collection, that's one of their more impressive ones that they've put out in terms of looking very similar to what you see on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, and just the sheer size in terms of just getting all of that game and doing what they did with it. I thought they did an amazing job, especially like I had a ton of fun with like BioShock Infinite. That's my favorite BioShock game. And I think they did a great job with that title, and also the Final Fantasy stuff that they did as well. I think they also did like Starlink too. I mean, they've done a lot of different things on the Switch, and they've had varying levels of success. I know not everything's been the best. So for example, like some people had some issues like with the sound quality of like Dark Souls Remastered, or like the quality of it, resolution and things like that. But I think for each project, they always try to do their best, like they stated here. And overall, they've had a lot of success, and their games have sold really well when it comes to the ports. They've done a great job with that, but I can't wait to see what they have next for us, because I think there's going to be a lot of cool ports that are going to come over to the system, and Virtuous is going to be handling quite a number of them. So what do you guys think about what Virtuous had to say here and the porting process to Nintendo Switch? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the final topic here, guys. We've got a European sale. Yes, I'm an American channel when it comes down to it, but we talking about everything here. We call them the Viking Nation out here. So I've got some news for you guys here. There is a New Year 2021 sale going down on the European eShop with some first-party games. I mean, like, cue the oh my gosh music, you know what's going on here. Up to 75% off on some of the biggest titles, and even some of the newer games as well. So let's go ahead and run down this whole list here. Below, we've got 1-2 Switch, that's 30% off. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, that's 30% off. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker plus Special Episode, that's 30% off. Clubhouse Games, that's 30% off. Dragon Quest XI S, that's 50% off. Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition is 33% off. Luigi's Mansion, 33% off. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is 33% off. Octopath Traveler is 50% off. That's a good one right there. Super Mario Odyssey is 33% off. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is 30% off, and the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild plus the expansion pack is 29% off. Now, there's a lot more deals going down in Europe, so please make sure you guys check out the link in the description if you are interested. But I do like some of this stuff towards the bottom here. My picks would be, oh man, there's a lot of picks here, but if I had to pick some, Dragon Quest XI S, 50% off. That is a steal. That game is absolutely amazing. There's plenty of content, so many different upgrades in that game. You're going to love it if you like old school RPGs. I'll also say here too, this might be a great time for any of you new owners out there. Pick up the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and the expansion pass. Definitely do yourself a favor and get lost in the world of Hyrule and Legend of Zelda. It's so good. But I'll also say here too, Octopath Traveler, another really good RPG that definitely needs some more love. And both of those, with Dragon Quest XI S and also with Octopath Traveler, both those have huge discounts of 50%. So you're getting a good deal on games that you're going to be able to play for a very long time. Fantastic visuals, fantastic content, really good stuff here. So I'm loving this sale. And always the eternal Super Mario Odyssey. This is a game that I need to go back and play again because it's so good. It's really good. There's so much content in there. You guys know the deal with Super Mario Odyssey. One of the best reviewed games of all time. One of the best reviewed games on the Nintendo Switch and needs no more introduction. There's a dinosaur in the game. Like, you can play as a dinosaur. Like, that's all you need to have, right? So really good stuff across the board here. I'm loving this European sale, and hopefully you guys can go out there and take advantage of some of these for the new year, because these are all fantastic games for the most part. I clicked the link and I checked out some of the other games that are on sale. There's a ton of stuff. Even if you're into smaller or indie games, they've got content on there, and first party games as well. But I also will put out a little bit of a disclaimer, not disclaimer, but a little bit of a shout out to Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics. If you've got a family or if you got friends that you can play with all the time, that game is an absolute blast. The games are so much fun. Just these little games that you can play, and the online play works really flawlessly. You can easily get into the lobbies and play games with your friends, so that's also really good too to play casually, would be Clubhouse Games. I'm not a big on like the casual playing games and all that, and the board games and stuff like that. Like, I'm not big on like Mario Party and everything, but that's a game that I streamed multiple times and that I played quite a bit back when it launched, you know, here last year, more like it, when it launched in the West. I was playing that game quite a bit. So yeah, Clubhouse Games is really fun too. So what do you guys think about the sales here? What do you think about what Virtuous had to say and F-Zero potentially coming back? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Check out the links in the description. We've got Twitter. Go and give us a follow on there. Stay up to date on all the latest gaming news and information. Also, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video if you can. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you for the next one. Peace.